All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We are here at South Street Yoga and Nutrition in Morristown, New Jersey with Debbie Weinstein. Debbie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
It's great having you. So I've taken a couple classes here, and I really like it. And I'm excited to talk to you and learn a little bit more about you and the kind of what goes on here. So let's learn just a little bit about Debbie.
Okay.
So kind of like, let's go through maybe some general background, and then we'll kind of get into South Street Yoga and Nutrition in a little bit. Yeah.
So basically about 10 years ago, I was practicing at this studio when it was on South Street, and a really nice young couple was running it, and I kind of got the feeling that they had no idea what they were doing. So at that point, I was also in school for my master's in clinical nutrition, and I thought, wow, this would be really cool to like integrate the two of them. My kids were getting ready to go off to college, and the whole mom thing.
Right.
Wanted to move on to the next phase of my life. So I approached them, didn't tell my husband. I told one single person what I was planning on doing, and that was one of my yoga teachers. And I'm like, I'm thinking of buying this yoga studio. And she's like, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I said, all right. So I approached the kids who owned it and asked them, and they gave me an outrageous price. And I said, no, let's rewind here. I said, you guys are like so in the red that we're not even like on sea level here.
Right.
I said, this is what I'll pay you. We're not negotiating. You either do it or you don't do it. And they're like, okay, I'll take it. And at that point, I went home and I said to my husband, guess what, honey? I just bought a yoga studio. He's like, oh, okay.
Great. Yeah.
He goes, what do you know about running a yoga studio? I said, nothing. But it's like running any other business. And
Sure.
my background was in advertising and marketing. So I figured, like, how different could it be?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really good. And like, so you knew about the studio. Did you have like a background at all in yoga at all? Did you go to yoga classes?
Yeah, I went to yoga classes.
You're like, that's like a huge jump.
No, I'm not that crazy.
Like me buying like a Pilates studio. Like, I don't know anything. But it's still a business, like you said.
It was a pretty big stretch. Like, my friends were like, you actually bought a yoga studio. Aren't you supposed to be like that? I said, no, you're supposed to be a business person.
Yeah.
And my teachers will bring this into the story. And that's sort of how it's been.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And you mentioned like your background is in nutrition. Is that what your master's in nutrition?
Yeah, my early on background was in advertising and marketing.
Oh, right. Yeah, you said
and
that.
then I decided through a lot of different things that I saw happening with my own family and my mom and my children, I saw what a pivotal role nutrition played in the result of disease and in how your disease progressed or didn't progress.
Right.
And at that point, I said, there's a lot to be learned here. And I went back and I got my master's in clinical nutrition.
Gotcha.
And just thought a yoga studio with nutrition was like a marriage, perfect marriage.
Yeah, for sure. And are you from Jersey originally?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a New York girl.
We're done.
Bye, sorry. And I don't go down to the shore. I go out to the beach. So,
okay. All right.
Sorry.
I should have known this before. I got bamboozled. But
I've lived in New Jersey for 27 friggin' years. So,
We'll allow it. But awesome. So, the fact that this place was in Morristown, did that factor into your decision?
Oh, 100%.
Also?
I've lived in Morristown for so many years, and I love the community. I love the town. I love the idea of being able to basically walk to work if I wanted to.
Right.
It played a huge part in it.
Yeah, awesome. So what I find interesting is that this is South Street Yoga, but it's not actually on South Street.
Yeah, well, that's the truth. We were on South Street for, I guess, 5.5 years, right on South Street between Amontivino Wine, next to them. And
was it like upstairs?
it was downstairs actually.
I knew there was like a door, and I saw the stuff.
And let's just say we didn't have the greatest landlords that there was. And then when they built a bar above us, that was the end of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent 2 years looking for another place. And as you know, in Morristown, that's really challenging.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm on the board of the partnership. And I actually called, Jen, the head of the partnership, and said, listen, I'm going to close because I can't work under a bar anymore. I'm watching my business go to hell, and I don't like taking classes at my studio, so I don't think the people
I'm sure
do.
Nobody else will.
I said, it's just I'd rather go out on a high note than a low note.
Yeah.
And she's like, before you do that, I want you to see this one place that just came on the market. And I said, well, I'm 4 hours away. She's like, get in your car, drive here, and come see it. I'm like, it better be damn good, because I had looked at so many places, and it just didn't, work for one reason or another. I opened the door here. The realtor was here, and I'm like, okay, give me the contract or the lease or whatever. And I signed the lease that day, and it was the best thing for me, for the studio, for our yogis. I mean, it's just, you see it. It's just bright light. The landlord's amazing. We did classes outside in the parking lot during COVID. It was a really good move. So that's why the weird name on Mill Street. And we had talked about changing it, but I had been in business for 5 years and had a reputation. So we're like, people will figure it out.
Right. And they're going to be like, oh, is this a different place, the same place? And if they like you, and then with anything, they're going to keep coming, whether it's on South Street or Mill Street or Main Street. It doesn't matter.
We originally thought we're going to change it to South Street Yoga and Nutrition on Mill Street. And I'm like, that's kind of a mouthful. Like,
right.
We'll just leave it. People
putting that in an Instagram handle would be pretty. That's pretty long.
Too much.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So, and then when you made the move, did you start to see things like? It was probably like way better.
It was amazing. I mean, we got to practice yoga basically in peace.
Yeah.
When we were on South Street, they had karaoke night on Wednesday and Fridays, and I literally could not come in and take the class.
Which bar is it under?
JK Steakhouse, which is now the Mexican place.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I actually couldn't go into the studio and take my own classes on Friday and Wednesday, because I would upset the students, because I would be so upset that they, were in like peaceful environment.
Yeah.
And it just was crazy. So as soon as we moved here, it was just great.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And then like I'm sure when you made the move, like those people that were coming obviously still came, and maybe the people that didn't like karaoke night at the yoga studio, they would start coming back, I would imagine.
Yes. We actually lost one person because she said she couldn't walk across town, and I said, all right, whatever. But other than that, all of our clients were like ecstatic with the move and the parking and the wide open light bright spaces.
Sure.
It was good.
Awesome. And then I'm sure also like attracting teachers to a studio that's more peaceful is probably a lot easier too. Is that something that you saw as well?
Actually, no, because I've just been super lucky with my teachers.
Okay.
Like before COVID, which there was a lot of turnover for, obvious reasons. I had my teachers for like 7 years.
Yeah.
So we've been really lucky, and we have such like a nice community that people like to work here.
Right.
I'm not taking credit for it. I'm saying that the yogis who come here are just so nice that the teachers really like it.
Yeah.
But yes, no one objected not to have a band playing above their head on a Friday night. Like you're laying there in Shavasana and someone's singing Sweet Caroline or whatever. It's just not.
You could just do like the like that part of Sweet Caroline. Everybody loves that part.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. So in our second segment, we're going to get a little bit more into kind of like what actually goes on here and like the different types of stuff that you guys offer. So we're going to take our first break of this episode. Okay. So this is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We are here at South Street Yoga and Nutrition in Morristown, New Jersey with Debbie Weinstein. We'll be right back.
Today in New Jersey History is sponsored by Silverstream Studio, a full-service podcasting studio, gallery, and retailer of oddities in Montclair, New Jersey. Check them out on Instagram at Silverstream Studio NJ. On June 20th, 1974, the honeybee became the state bug of New Jersey after Governor Brendan Byrne signed the legislation. Byrne was encouraged by a group of schoolchildren from the Sunnybrae School in Hamilton Township who went to the State House with a presentation including a song and a poem, and that is today in New Jersey history.
All right, we're back for segment 2 of this episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We are here at South Street Yoga and Nutrition in Morristown, New Jersey with Debbie Weinstein. So in the first segment, we learned a little bit about you and a little bit about how this place came to be, especially how this place came to be here. But in the second segment, what we like to do is kind of learn for someone coming here for the first time, so we got the address out of the way. I remember thinking, this is hilarious, because when I came for my first class, I was like, oh, it's right on South Street. And I live kind of on Ford Ave, so it's not too far. And I was like, I'll just like walk over there. And I just put it in my GPS just to like make sure I knew exactly where I was going. And I'm like, all right, I can't actually walk, but we'll make it there. So, so you're here. You said that you've been, blessed to have great
Oh, it's
yogis
amazing.
and great teachers
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. And in the couple classes that I've taken, I would totally agree with that. So maybe take me through like just kind of the general offerings
Okay.
of South Street Yoga and Nutrition.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of like build on that as we go.
Okay, so the less complicated part. I'm a board certified clinical nutritionist, so I see a lot of clients privately. I take some insurances. So clients come and we have one-to-one conversations, just about their nutritional needs or eradicating their disease or how they want, what they want to do to accomplish their goals.
Yeah.
So that's one part of the business, but that part is just me. That's not, anybody else in the studio. The second part of the business, the yoga business, we have right now, I think about 12 teachers.
Okay.
We have, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of students, which is really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess what maybe separates us a little bit is we sort of cater to everybody.
Yeah.
We are a traditional yoga studio, so we don't do hot yoga. We don't do any I don't know, there's no bells and whistles. We're a yoga studio and we do yoga. We don't offer like Pilates or bar or, we're not your local gym. We do what we're really good at, and that's yoga.
Right.
And we welcome anybody. I mean, we literally have women and some men in their late 70s practicing yoga, and they're in the same room as 20-year-olds who, can kick up into a handstand in a second.
Yeah.
And it all kind of works because everybody's just really nice and welcoming.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I guess one of the questions that I would have too is like when you got the, like you had your master's in nutrition, and then was that like a conscious thing? Like when you bought the studio, you were like, oh, I'm definitely bringing this background into what I'm going to do at South Street.
Yes,
Yeah.
but here was the big surprise for me. Most people who come to a yoga studio are rather healthy.
Yeah.
So most of my clients don't come from the yoga studio. I mean, there are obviously exceptions, and I do, there is some crossover. But I thought there'd be, just everybody. And then when I was actually doing it, I'm like, actually, most people who come to a yoga studio are a little further progressed in their journey.
Right.
So the referrals for the nutrition come from word of mouth, come from insurance, and, things along those lines.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and then kind of like generally throughout the week, how many classes per week are being offered?
Oh, okay. So probably.
I'll put you on the spot and make you think of a number.
I should know the answer like that.
Yeah.
But we, like every fitness place, we've just recently started to, up our game again.
Yeah.
We're probably at around 22 right now, I would say.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we were talking a little bit off camera before we started about the teachers that you have, the couple that I've taken, a couple others that I know through other ventures and whatever. But maybe take me through. I thought it was really cool because you were talking about how each teacher kind of has like their own style.
Yes.
I guess so. Maybe we could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So that's the thing that was most important to me when I bought the yoga studio is they're what makes it. I mean, I have my 200-hour teaching certificate. Literally, I've taught one class and I said, I don't like this, I'm not doing this again. And one of my teachers who took my class is like, what do you mean you're not doing it again? I said, no, I'm not doing it again. You guys are really good.
Right.
And I found my niche. I teach chair yoga at the senior center, and I absolutely love that.
Very cool.
But I don't like doing it here. So one of the things that was most important to me was that all of my teachers feel comfortable and true to what they do. So in other words, like the two teachers that you took, Taylor and Liz, their styles are so different, and I don't want to integrate my opinions into that. I want to let them teach the way that they're comfortable, thrive, and what they're comfortable with, and it brings their squad, you know, and the people who resonate more with them.
Right.
So that's why we have so many teachers, which some days is a good thing, and other days it's not my favorite part of my job. Most days it's a good thing, but not always. So that they can kind of bring what they need, and they can give our students what they need. So if and what you need on a day-to-day basis could be very different. Like if we only offered like powerful yoga, that would leave out.
It would alienate a certain group of people. Yeah.
And if you're not feeling powerful that day, you don't want to take that. Or if we only offered meditation and restorative yoga, Well, some days I know for me to take restorative yoga, I could just jump off a roof. I mean, and those are the days I need the restorative yoga. But, we wanted people to be able to do what works for them on that given day.
Right. And so, let's just take somebody that has never been here before.
Okay.
And they're looking at the schedule, which is on the website, which is southstreetyoga.com.
Yep.
Got it. So they're looking at the website. Is there a way that they would know that, or is it more just kind of you come, you check it out, and then you kind of go from there? Because I know some places will have this is yoga level 1, or this is level 2, or this is going to be
So
we're going to do headstands for the entire hour type of thing. Yeah.
So the best way for people to check it out and see what it is we offer a $50 intro special.
Okay.
And $50, I mean, that's the price of 2 drop-ins for a fitness class.
Yeah.
But the reason we do it is I want you to come to my studio, and I don't want you just to take a class and say, okay, this was cool or this wasn't cool, or I don't fit in here, or for whatever reason. I want you to come and check out my community and check out all my offerings, and then make the decision, wow, I love this, or okay, it's not for me.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that we offer to people, and I tell them, try and take at least 8 to 10 classes in the month period. It's basically free, and people get turned on to different types of yoga or different types of teachers that they would never resonated with. So that's the easiest way for people to kind of know what the deal is.
Yeah. And the $50 intro special, that's for a month?
Yeah, for a month of unlimited yoga.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So you can't, and we've got a great conversion rate because people come and they like the community. And it's easy to integrate themselves into, and that that's the other thing. People don't only come here looking for yoga.
Right.
They come here looking for a community as well, and that's kind of that's always been my thing that I want to offer. But yes, on the website, which is always a source of confusion for everybody, we have the yoga delineated by categories. In the reality, I wish I didn't have to do that.
Right.
Because it's really what the teacher's bringing to the program, and what do you find challenging? Maybe you find it challenging to hold a warrior 2.
I have a great warrior 2.
All right.
Very strong, very powerful, very balanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So see, that's easy for you.
Yeah.
So if one of my teachers like Steph, who teaches Friday nights, and would have you hold that for 3 minutes, you'd be like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah.
All day.
For me, if we're not moving, I'm like, okay, I just can't stand here another minute, and that's the challenge for me.
Right.
So that's why I like people to come in, because everybody says, well, is this class hard? Well, I don't know. I don't know what you think is hard.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Try it. And what's the word? We've never had anybody walk out. So I mean, that's a pretty good track record. 8 years, no one's ever left.
Mid-class, I'm out here.
It just sucks. Goodbye. See ya.
Yeah. And then, so the other question I would have is the $50 month intro, thing. When you have members, I guess, are they buying memberships per month? Is it more of I'm going to buy a block of classes, that kind of thing?
All of the above.
Okay.
So after the month intro special, I can pretty much recommend to somebody what's going to meet their needs. So we do have members who just auto pays and rolls over every month, and they're really the core of our studio. That the people that come all the time and that support the studio and make up a vast majority of the class. And then we've got other people, and they're just as welcome to will only come for yin yoga, or only come for kundalini, or they're going to be here every Saturday and Sunday no matter what, but they're never going to come on a Tuesday morning because they can't.
Yeah, sure.
So we offer so many options so that whatever works with your life and schedule, we got it covered.
Yeah, very cool. And then I know you mentioned doing the stuff at the senior center. Are there other things that are offered beyond the nutrition side and just the yoga classes? Are you doing stuff? Because I know, during COVID and all that, there was a lot of virtual stuff. Is that still stuff that you do, or is that
no? Thankfully, we pulled the plug on that for
literally.
Yeah. Oh, it was a happy day. I was like, bye.
Yeah.
We everybody. We transitioned several times slowly to eliminate that,
Sure.
and in the beginning, I think it was the beginning of March, I said, that's it. We can't. we could serve people virtually and we can serve people in person. We could not serve
Both.
two communities at the same time and do a
Right.
good job. And I had teachers going, no, we need to end this.
Yeah.
And we did. And people's form was suffering. And, there were people who, and whatever makes you comfortable, I'm good with that. But there were people who were, like flying on planes to Europe, but weren't comfortable coming into the yoga studio. I'm like, is this COVID related, or is this, I got used to practicing really sloppy in my pajamas
Right.
and, doing some down dog, version of
Just
down
putting
dog.
a picture of me and down dog on the screen, be like, look how good I'm doing.
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
thing.
And I said, you know what, somebody's going to get hurt. And this
Yeah.
was never meant to be a sustainable
Right.
offering.
Yeah.
So no, we are done with virtual, and
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll bring it back if we have to.
Yeah, sure.
But hopefully we won't.
Right. What about events and different things like that?
Yeah, so we love doing events.
Yeah.
I do teach chair yoga at the senior center for 25 seniors every Thursday, and it's one of the highlights of my week because I just see how important it is to them and how it was a personal goal of mine to offer that to the community because when my mom was in her last stages of life, that was one of her main lifelines, was the physical and the emotional release that the yoga provided.
Right.
So to be able to offer that to 25 plus people a week, love it. So we do that. We do a lot of corporate yoga where we'll go into XYZ law firm or XYZ hotel or XYZ small tiny company, and we'll offer yoga or meditation or even chair yoga to them so that, if you're dressed nicely and you basically don't want your butt in your boss's face.
Yeah, right. Split my pants, which has happened before.
Yeah.
Not even doing yoga.
You want to switch gears and talk about that one?
No, this is about you. This is not about me. This show is not about me.
We can swap. No. But, so we will offer chair yoga. We've gone into a lot of companies during COVID. We did a lot of that stuff virtually.
Right.
We did stuff for Atlantic Health Systems virtually that they played to, all of their people. So we do a lot of corporate events, stuff like that. We do... I say we did, and hopefully we're going to get back into doing one of my teachers and I developed Morristown Moves, which was a fitness crawl that we did for, I think, 3 or 4 years to raise money for the American Cancer Society. And people went from, fitness place to fitness place. And I don't know, I think the last year we did it, we made close to $10,000.
Wow.
And it was super fun, and it was great for the businesses. And Southern Pine did the food. That's actually how I met her. So we used to do a lot of stuff like that, like kickoff for the AIDS walk. But that's diminished over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So hopefully all those really fun events, which keep it fresh and make it, part of the community. I mean, we recently did a class to benefit Ukraine, and we raised almost $1,000, which by one class, which I was shocked.
Yeah.
So we love all that stuff.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, that's awesome. So the other quick thing that I forgot to ask this question in the beginning. So when these people that are looking at these classes to take are looking at the website, should they sign up for a class on the website, or should they just show up like I've done?
Yeah. That's all right.
Hey, I'm here, and they're like, who the hell are you?
We try to accommodate everybody. Pre-COVID, and everything, I don't know how it always comes back to that, but pre-COVID, we would have 22 people in the room, and people were like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Now we have 15, and they're like, you're in my space. So I do encourage people to sign up because on the weekend, our classes are starting to sell out.
Yeah.
And, we keep bumping up the numbers a little bit, and we'll add more classes if we need to.
Yeah.
That would be a wonderful situation. But we've yet to turn anybody away, and everybody's really pretty good if someone walks in at the last minute of kind of scooching over. I've given up my spot once or twice, and that's fine too.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so that was great.
Okay.
So now I feel like everybody that's listening to this episode should know what to expect when they come in here. So we're going to take our second break, our last break of this episode. So this is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We are here at South Street Yoga and Nutrition in Morristown, New Jersey with Debbie Weinstein. We'll be right back.
It is time for your New Jersey Fun Fact of the Day. Did you know that New Jersey is the only state where all of its counties are classified as metropolitan areas? And that is your New Jersey Fun Fact of the Day.
All right, welcome back for segment 3 of this episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We are here in Morristown, New Jersey today at South Street Yoga and Nutrition with Debbie Weinstein. So in the first segment, we learned about the background of you and kind of how South Street Yoga and Nutrition got started, its move, all that. In the second segment, we learned if you're a first timer coming into South Street Yoga, you know exactly, after listening to that segment, you should know exactly what you're getting yourself into. In the third segment, we always like to tie it back into the community, which is something that you had touched on a few times. You wanted these first-timers and people coming into the studio to see the community that you've developed. Right. So can you expand on that community a little bit? Yes.
So when I started the studio, my single most important goal was to create a community.
Yeah.
Obviously, yoga is the predominant tie that we all have together, but to be able to see people through births, through deaths, through, cancer diagnoses, through divorce, and to see them, grow and find the support that they need here, and not just from my teachers and me, but from everybody around them,
right.
For the good times and the bad. I mean, there's been a lot of happy and a lot of sad tears here.
Yeah.
We've had 6 teachers get engaged in the past, 8 months. Yeah, literally.
Wow.
I said there's something in the water. So if you're interested, come try our tap water.
Now, off mic, you know why.
We're going to be bottling it, just in case.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of sense of community and to be there for each other and to know that, there's always somebody to talk to or to spend time with. And that's really was the single most important thing that I wanted to do, and the single thing I'm proudest of accomplishing is to just have a really strong, awesome community.
Yeah, and what I think is cool too, because it goes beyond just the people that come to the classes, because we were talking about the yogis, that's the better term to use, right? So the yogis that teach here, they're part of that community as well.
Yes.
And like you were saying before, they're basically kind of what brings people in and gets people in the door. So having that good core group, I'm sure, is another big part of that community.
Oh, it's huge. And, that was definitely a learning curve. And, there was some interesting hires that we had here. We could do a whole segment on how not to hire yoga teachers. But I think we've progressed from that. And we're at a really, really good place with a lot of really dynamic people, a lot of different talents, both on and off their mat. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And then what I think also is interesting too is that, these communities that I've seen over the course of all my different episodes, some have had tremendous communities, like you're saying. And what I think is cool is that it goes beyond just hey, I bought a month-long membership. Yeah. It's just it's much deeper than that. So maybe take me through some ways that the community has both supported you, even beyond just buying a couple classes and coming in and taking a class, and then the reverse relationship where you were providing things to people that otherwise they would not have gotten if they weren't part of the community.
All right, so
I know that's a big time question.
No, and it's a good question, and unfortunately, it all goes back to that COVID word.
Yeah, but, I hate keep harping on that, but I think what I think we were talking about on the phone before we did this interview was the fact that that was something obviously terrible. But I think you started to see things come out of people that were just amazing.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where the cream rises to the top. And then if you have those strong bonds with your community and you're a good person and you're vibing with good people, that's what happens.
I can't tell you how many people said to me, your going virtual was my lifeline. Yeah. I knew that every day I would see smiling faces, even if we weren't really smiling, because none of us were.
Yeah.
But they knew that they had that for their physical and mental health. And I'm not talking a dozen times. I'm talking hundreds of times people said that to me. And it was just really cool to know how important this community is to people on and off their mat.
Right.
So that was something wonderful. Another way that we gave back to the community then, and we still do it, and I don't know if I want to put this out there on a podcast, so please take it for what it's worth.
Nobody listens, so it's fine.
That's good. All right, so the 2 or 3 people.
Mom, don't take advantage, Mom.
We've never turned anybody away.
Yeah.
I mean, there is never been a single person, and I've reached out to some people who I know are having a bit of rough luck and have said, listen, I just upped your account to a year membership, and they're like, are you kidding me? I said, no, I'm absolutely not kidding you.
Yeah.
I know how this is going to get you through it, and you'll pay it forward when it's done, and you'll do something nice for somebody else. Because I really think that that's important. I mean, yes, I'm running a business.
Of course.
No bones about it. I pay the rent, I pay the electric, and I pay my teachers. But at the end of the day, I'm also offering a service that can really help people. During COVID, we gave free yoga, virtual yoga, to any healthcare workers, doctors, sanitation people in the hospital, whoever wanted it, needed it, no questions asked.
Yeah.
So I'm just a big believer in that, and we get it back. I mean, I had people signing up for classes that were virtual and buying class passes, and I'm like, you are not coming. And they're like, we know. It's okay.
Yeah.
Keep my membership going. Just keep it going. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
And that's, that to me is what it's all about, is the give and take, and the, helping me when I needed it and me helping them, and just offering it. I don't ever want to see someone not take a yoga class because they can't.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what's really cool. And I'm a big believer, and I've said this on a whole bunch of other episodes that we've had, where people doing some similar things to what you're doing, is that like the more good you put out, eventually, and that's not why you do it, but eventually that good comes back to you because you start surrounding yourself with other good people. Good people want to be around good people.
Raising the vibration.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
You're vibing with the people that you vibe with.
Vibing with your tribe.
Yeah. There you go. So the other thing that I think is cool is you had mentioned a couple times in the last segment about like the events and doing stuff with other local businesses, which I think is really cool. And another way that community thing is tied in, because like I live here in Morristown. This place is in Morristown. We've had, I don't know how many places in Morristown on the show so far, and almost every single one, I think every single one of them has talked about the level of like camaraderie almost between all these businesses.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that too.
So that's one of the things I love most about Morristown is, I mean, obviously there's some competitors out there. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody's got each other's back, and they'll recommend people who suit me better or somebody else who suits it. We love doing things with other businesses. We just ran a retreat where Leah from South and Pine was the chef on our retreat. So we went.
Amazing.
It sold out in about, I don't know, less than a week. But we went, 16 of us to a house out on Eastern Long Island, not the Jersey Shore.
Okay.
Yeah, forgive it. Agree to disagree. And, Leah cooked the meals, and we did yoga together. And, that's the kind of partnership I love. Like, we've done stuff with Greenpoint Juicery, just a whole bunch of different businesses. And it keeps it fresh, it keeps it fun, and it helps serve all of the community. And, there's a lot of cross-reference from it. Like I said, we love doing anything. We love working with the town, like offering the chair yoga, anything with the not-for-profits, any of those kind of things. Like, it really, everybody's business can help each other.
Yeah,
and I think that's
sure.
a really good thing.
Yeah, awesome. So this episode has been amazing. So first off, thank you for coming on and being our first ever yoga studio on the show. So there you go. But if people want to learn, I know we dropped the website earlier, but if people want to learn more about South Street Yoga and Nutrition, where can they go to do that?
Okay, so our Instagram is South Street Yoga, Facebook page, South Street Yoga. We keep it simple.
Yeah.
Or check out our website at southstreetyoga.com. Give me a call, DM me, anything. Just stop by. I'm frequently here.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so I'll make sure that I put the website, the social handles, with the address.
40 Mill Street.
40 Mill Street.
And we have parking.
And we do have parking in the back. Amazing. So again,
and we might even, if the weather ever gets nice, we did some outside classes and people kind of really liked it. Yeah. So I think we might even do that again.
Yeah, that would be cool. This week we're recording this, what is today? April 10th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's freezing.
No, I think it's supposed to be like 60 today.
All right.
I think Wednesday's supposed to be in the 70s.
All right, we'll take that outside.
Yeah, we'll look back when this episode actually
Exactly.
posts. We'll look back and see if we actually did any outdoor classes by then. But I'll make sure that I put the social handles, the website in the show notes, and the address. So if you do want to check them out, make sure that you do. And then also along with greetingsfromtheGardenState.com and greetingsfromtheGardenState@gmail.com, which are the website and email address of the show. So Debbie, thank you so much for doing
You're
this today.
welcome.
This was amazing.
And you know what? Just off the top of my head, if somebody mentions that they heard about us from your podcast, we'll give them a free water bottle. So
Amazing.
Just come in and tell us.
Amazing. Free water bottles. How can you go wrong? Awesome. So thank you again, everybody else. This has been the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Cam. We are here at South Street Yoga and Nutrition today in Morristown, New Jersey with Debbie Weinstein. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.